Good morning, student. Today we are going to see the lesson number 3.6, The Merchant of Venice. Here we can see this story is the retold version of Shakespeare's famous play, The Merchant of Venice. See on the page number 70, Antonio was a merchant who lived in Venice, a prosperous city in Italy. In those days, that is about 500 years ago, sea voyages were dangerous, and yet some adventurous merchants traveled across the seas. Some others spent a lot of money in spending ships to faraway countries. These ships brought back spices and other traces from India and other countries. The merchant sold these things in Europe. They made a lot of profit in this business. And at that time you can see that there were no any advanced sea voyages technology or ships there were. At the time when the story begins, Antonius was waiting for his ships to return with merchandise. He had put almost all his money in the ships. Antonio was a kind man. He had many friends, but his best friend was Bassanio. Bassanio was a young and handsome nobleman, but unfortunately he had no money. Bassanio wanted to marry Portia. Portia was beautiful and intelligent. She was the only daughter of a very wealthy man. When her father had died, leaving her a large estate or properties. In his will, Portia's father had written how Portia's husband should be selected. He had set a test for her suitors. Suitors means who? A man who want to marry a particular woman. They had to choose between three caskets. Casket means a small ornamental box for holding jewels, letters, and other valued objects. One of gold, one of silver, and one of lead. Each casket had something written on it. On the gold casket, it was written, "Whoever chooses me shall gain what many may desire." On the silver casket, "Whoever chooses me shall get as much as he deserves." On the casket of lead, "Whoever chooses me must give and hazards all he has." Hazard means a source of danger. One of the Portia's suitors was Prince of Morocco. He chose the gold casket, but when he opened the casket, the message inside said that it was not the right casket. All that glitters is not gold. Glitters means to shine brightly. Another suitor, the Prince of Aragon, chose the silver casket, but that too was not the right casket. Bassanio wanted to try his luck with the casket. To do that, he had travelled to Belmont where Portius lived on her estate. He needed for money. He needed money for that. When Antonio came to know this, he wanted to help. He told Bassanio to borrow money in his means Antonio's name. They went to Shylock, the Jewish moneylender, and asked him for the money. Moneylender means a person whose business to do lend money to others. Shylock had a lot of money, but he was not at all generous. Money was all that he cared for. He did not like Antonius because Antonius sometimes lent people money without charging any interest for it. So Shylock decided to take advantage of this situation. He gave them the money on a strange condition, a unique condition. If Antonius failed to return the money within 3 months, Shylock would cut off a pound of Antonius' flesh. Antonius agreed to this and borrowed the money for Bassanio. Bassanio went to Belmont. When he saw the cascade, he chose the lead one that was the right cascade, and Bassanio's won Portio's hand by choosing it. Portio too was glad to marry Bassanio. In the meanwhile, Shylock heard that Antonius had lost his ships. He was very happy that Antonius would not be able to pay the money. He took Antonius on the next page, on page number 72, you can see, to court and demanded that he fulfill the strange and cruel condition. The Duke liked Antonius and was sorry for him. But what could he do? Antonio had written a bond to Shylock, and according to the law, Shylock was right. When Bassanio and Porcio heard all this, they rushed back to Venice. Porcio told Bassanio to pay Shylock's twice amount to save Antonius, but Shylock was adamant. Adamant means refusing to change one's mind about a particular things. He demanded only a pound of Antonius' flesh. Everyone in the court, including the Duke, felt the Shylock's demand was inhuman. The Duke asked Shylock to show mercy. To show mercy. Mercy means a forgiveness shown towards someone. Antonius, but Shylock was not ready to do so. He felt that Antonius and others had treated him badly before, and he wanted to revenge or take a revenge. Just then, a young lawyer entered the court. He said that he would fight Antonius' case. He asked Antonius whether he had agreed to Shylock's condition. Antonius said that he had agreed. Then the young lawyer requested Shylock to show mercy. Though the law was on Shylock's side, the lawyer pleaded. Pleaded means to make an appeal or emotional appeal that mercy is a quality of God Himself. When a person shows mercy to someone else, they are both blessed. Mercy was more valuable than a king crown. But all this had no effect on Shylock's. The young lawyer then said that the law allowed Shylock to take a pound of flesh, and he could do that. At the same time, the lawyer warned that while cutting off the flesh, Shylock should not shed even one drop of Antonius' blood. Also, he should cut exactly 1 pound of flesh, nothing else, nothing more. That that would not be allowed by the law. Shylock realized that he could not do what the young lawyer asked him to do, and he accepted his defeat. Antonius' life was saved. Who was the young lawyer? Bassanio and Antonius found out later that It was none other than Porcius herself, dressed, yeah, as a young man. Later, it was learned that Antonio's ships were saved. So he had not in fact lost his money. Thus, the story, which could have ended in a tragic manner, ended happily. Very nice story we have learned. We have to read this lesson, and whatever the hard word is there, you have to write in your notebook and their meanings. On pointers, you can see on page number 73 and 74 as much as you can solve it, and after reopening of the school we can see the, or we can check the this pointers. Thank you very much. Have a nice time.